kicks in self-defense, listed from best to worst. Now I'm going to go over 5 basic kicks that you could learn in any martial arts style that you take, or you could learn absolutely anywhere. Now, when you take it somewhere else, they might teach you a little different way to do the kick that I'm about to teach you. You might want to comment or say something to us about, well, that's not how the kick really works, you wouldn't really be able to do it. But take a moment and realize I'm just talking about a couple basic directions. Everything else after that, we like to point our toe this way, we put our heel that way. All that other stuff is arguable, okay? So top 5. Now I've listed the 5 because I'm going over 5 basic directions. Now you're probably wondering which ones those are, but we have front kicks, we have back kicks, we have side kicks, we have round kicks, and then I also added hook kick, which a hook kick is a round kick going in the other direction. Okay, now everything else besides that is, well, head high, body high, leg high. All of those things don't really matter. Wherever I put the kick, like if I say, oh, I kick him in the head, boom, I kick him in the body, that's not a different kick, it's still a front kick. So, number 5, the worst one, in my opinion, is the roundhouse kick. Now, I'm probably going to get a lot of people disagreeing with me on that because a lot of people maybe watch UFC, maybe they take a kickboxing class or something like that, but that is exactly why it's the worst one. Because it relies on a few things. It relies on knowledge of how to do a round kick. A lot of people will not turn their support foot when they round kick. I've done a video on how to round kick, so you can always look that up. But a lot of people won't turn their support foot when they round kick, giving them very little power and kind of this snappy junk kick. Again, your kick might be thunder and lightning, but my point is you don't turn your hip enough. Okay, well, you learn to turn your hip. Okay, well, now I just kicked it with my shin, which, you know, hey, I can knock down a tree or whatever with my shin. Can you? The average person that's going to learn self-defense is not going to be able to handle a hard shin shot. Maybe somebody else can, maybe somebody's trained, maybe you can spend the next 10 years beating on your shins until you can do it. But have you got 10 years before you need to defend yourself? And will you be half crippled by the time you get there? So, the roundhouse kick, of course, you can kick with the ball of the foot, top of the foot, all that other stuff, and I could explain why those are good, why those are bad, but that's exactly why the round kick falls at number 5. I've got to explain it, I got to teach it, I have to show you all kinds of stuff for self-defense. So, kicking can be hazardous, period, when you're defending yourself, because you got to lift your feet off the ground, but especially so when you have to be well trained for it. Now the other thing is if you've had training and you're like, oh, I'll just kick somebody, and some guy comes barreling at you, and a lot of people come straight through that kick. And even if they halfway fall down on their way in, they'll end up punching you in the face, falling on you, things like that. So that's why I list roundhouse kick at number 5. Okay, number 4, you might be surprised to find out, I think hook kick is more useful than the roundhouse kick. Now you might say, hook kick, that stupid thing where we come up and we clack somebody in the back of the head with our heel? Well, it's called a gyaku moashigeri in Japanese. I don't know what it's called in every other place, but it's a hook kick. Now, what is a hook kick also? A hook kick is also, if I'm stepping up to the target and I hook my leg behind their leg. So if I'm going to do a takedown, if I'm going to step in, if I'm going to grab them, okay, so from a sweeping position, I come up, I grab, I put my leg between your legs and I push you over and down. Or if I come around and I hook my leg around your leg and I use it kind of as a hugger to kind of hold you down and throw you over. Now you might say, well, what if I twist my knee? That sounds a little dangerous. Well, it is a little dangerous, but that's why it falls in at number 4. Okay? Number 3 is going to be the side kick. Now, side kick, depending on where you go, can be a difficult kick to learn. Now, some styles use the blade of their foot. Some styles use several different ways of using their foot. But for today's training, we're going to talk about a stomping kick, more with your heel. So if you imagine these are my toes and this is the heel of my foot, I'm going to kick more with the flat of the foot. Again, if you're well trained, you can learn to do it a different way. But if you were well trained, you wouldn't need to know the best self-defense kick. You'd probably just know. So a side kick is somebody standing to the side of me. I don't fight with somebody and go, and do some goofy thing like that, why would I do that? Okay? Somebody's standing to the side of me, somebody's mouthing off here, some guy comes at me, or girl or whatever comes at me from this direction. I lean back, and I use the flat of my foot to stomp. Okay? Now, that was a body shot. You should probably be kicking to knees, shins. Stomping on the feet is probably your best bet, especially if you're not very agile and you have not thrown thousands of kicks. So, side kick would fall in at number 3. Now, side kick is not an obvious kick because not everybody comes at me from the side. But most people come at me from the front or the back, which is why back kick falls in at number 2. Now again, number 2, people might go, yeah, but this back kick stuff, you'd have to spin around and you have to go like that and kick somebody. That's true, but that predisposes that we are in a boxing match or a kickboxing match or an MMA fight. That means I'm standing here with you and I go to turn around and look at you, boom, and go to kick you. I'm not going to do that in self-defense. In self-defense, somebody's going to come up and grab me. I'm going to look back here and I'm going to stomp back on their leg. I'm going to stomp on their foot. Maybe I would kick somebody to the body if I was a little bit arrogant. But again, if somebody catches your foot in a self-defense situation, pretty embarrassing. So, back kick falls in at number 2, which leaves me with front kick. Now, the front kick falls in at number 1 because, much like the side kick, if I use my heel, or the back kick, if I use my heel, these are natural human motions. Walking and walking backwards are natural to us. Our legs do this kind of thing. So to throw a back kick, we have a lot more power. To throw a front kick, I come up and I stomp out with my heel and with the whole of my foot. Now there are kicks with the ball of my foot, there are front kicks with the instep, there are front kicks from the wise masters on top of whatever mountain. But for somebody that has very little experience, stomping directly down on somebody's foot is still a front kick. Stomping down towards their shin and then hitting them in the face, still a front kick. Yeah, kick them in the body, but if they grab your foot because they got mad, even if you made a good hard kick and they grab your foot, they still grabbed your foot. So, for self-defense, number 1, front kick's a good one to go with. Number 2, back kick is a good one to go with when they're behind you. Number 3, side kick, if they're next to you and we stomp towards the shins, knees, stuff like that. And knees are not as easy to break as you think they are. Quit watching Roadhouse so much. I liked it too, but it's a movie. Okay? Number 4, got all Roadhouse off track there. Number 4 would be the hook kick. Okay? Just a hooking motion with the feet. Number 5 would be the round kick. Okay? Probably a little surprising to you. I know the round kick is the monster of all kicks, and if you're in great shape and you've thrown thousands of round kicks, yeah, it can be pretty dangerous. But remember, self-defense is not a match. Self-defense is somebody comes at you from nowhere, you got to get your hands and your feet up, which is probably the last point there. The front kick is so good because it's partially a knee. Okay? It's a stomping motion. It's got a lot of stuff going for it. Anyway, those are some thoughts on kicking for self-defense. Maybe you agree with me, maybe you don't. Come train with us, SpringfieldKarateandFitness.com, or train with somebody that's good and can teach you lots of good stuff. Keep training, and we'll talk soon.